Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Hello and welcome to NOLA Motorsports Park, the gem of New Orleans here at this point, just outside of the city. We get ready for another fantastic day of racing action for the NOLA SpeedTour. We've got Trans Am on the lineup. We've got Formula cars on the lineup. We've got classic cars on the lineup. We've got everything you can imagine around this absolutely fantastic circuit. As there we take a look at the menu, it is going to be Formula Regional Americas Championship, the second feature race that will be coming up to you in about 10 minutes' time. Then we move on into some SVRA action for 3 races. Then the new JSF 4 Series gets their third feature race in at 10:20, and at 12:05, well, that's time for the fun for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, and then we will wrap up the day with another Formula Regional Americas Championship feature race at 2 o'clock. Stay with us here on SpeedTour TV, and we'll be able to give you all of that action throughout the day. Myself, DJ Clark, along with Ben Sissel and John Fippin, will be bringing you the action. We'll have a couple of guests coming into the booth as well, including Adam Andretti, going to be joining us for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race. John, the most recent winner last time out for the Trans Am presented by Pirelli Series in Road Atlanta. This circuit has provided a lot of thrills for us over the course of the weekend. Everything has been a little bit interesting. In the TA race yesterday, we saw a couple of incidents. Amy Ruman and Adam Andretti both having mechanical issues that forced them out of the race. And, of course, the fantastic battle between Paul Menard and Chris Dyson, with Dyson finally taking his first victory on the year and inching himself closer and closer towards what could be a 4th consecutive title in TA, trying to be able to eclipse the record set by Ernie Francis Jr. But the big stories in, of course, the TA2 Series coming into this race, well, Nitro Motorsports looking particularly good. Rafa Matos taking pole position and getting ready to go. But we are getting ready in a few moments' time. We'll be able to head down to pit lane in Ben Sissel, who's going to be able to walk through this Formula grid and give us absolutely everything. Ben, down to you.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. I'm here at FR Americas. This is the grid walk, the grid for the first race. The sun has just come up. It's a little bit chilly out there on the track, but this right here is an illustration of the ladder system at work. Cole Kleck won yesterday's feature race 1. He also got pole, so which means he got the fastest time. Last year, he started the season in F4 and moved up, I believe, at Mid-Ohio into the FR. Really fast driver, doing really well. Then talking about that ladder system, our scholarship winner from last year's F4 champion, here now starting out in Formula Regional Americas in FR, doing really well. Still with Ron Fellows, always known as the nicest man in any paddock. Patrick Woods-Toth doing really well from Canada. Like I said, last year's champion in F4 moved up to FR and obviously doing really well, finishing second yesterday. Then Nicolas Ambiado, all the way from Santiago, Chile. He raced with us just a little bit last year, also with SVRA in this car, I believe, at Road America. But look for Nicolas to move up, doing really well. Then we have last year's runner-up in FR, Ryan Shehan, I believe from Austin, Texas, doing really well in the FR car. Our runner-up last year, a really hard-fought championship. So it's really cool to see him back. We have, I think, 5 competitors back in FR. We've got 2 Masters this year. Kevin Jansen over there is our Masters from probably 3-4 seasons. And then we have Titus Sherlock what I would say the most recognizable helmet last year in F4, still running that same helmet, but has moved up. Now, one thing to talk about, Patrick Woods-Toth, Ryan Shehan, Jett Bowling all competed in the offseason in the New Zealand series down in New Zealand with Kiwi Motorsports and did really well. So look for Titus Sherlock to move up, a really fast F4 driver. But I have to brag about Jett Bowling. Jett Bowling was with us last year in F4, went down to New Zealand with Kiwi Motorsports, and he got the most improved driver down there last year or in the offseason in New Zealand. So look for him to move up. I'm loving that helmet, Jett. Then Hayden Bowlsbey, the hometown hero with IGY6 here from New Orleans. We heard him yesterday commentating in the Ligier JSF4 series, so it's so cool to have Hayden Bowlsbey back. And then Ashley was telling me that there is a new tire compound this year with the hand-cooked tires. You can see that he's running brand new tires, so we'll see how that compound does. We've heard great things about it, that it's very competitive. So it's always cool when we make these kind of little changes in the off-season. Then Nicole, she says Havrda. I spoke to her dad, I spoke to her mom, and her. All three of them pronounced their last name differently, which I found very interesting. But Nicole, all the way from Vancouver, British Columbia, Vancouver Island. You can see the maple leaves all over her car. A nice, really nice touch there. So Nicole is in the pink helmet out there. And then another thing I want to talk about is Mountoon. These Mountoon engines, and they're doing all the servicing for these engines. That's another change this year. It's so cool to have Mountoon out here with us. These engines in these cars are so great. They're very quick, but the greatest thing about them, with all the power that they deliver, they are so reliable. So we love that. So happy to have Mountoon out here. Ricco, I'm not familiar with Ricco. Ricco seems to be a little bit new to the series, another Crosslink Kiwi, but I love the livery here. It's unbelievable. Now we're going to talk to his mechanic, who I've known for a long time. So you were telling me how to say his last name. I forget, so tell us how to say his last name.
Shlaimoun.
Ricco Shlaimoun. And is this his first time with us in FR?
I believe so, yes.
Nice. So we're getting 1 minute. So, gentlemen, I'm going to send it back to you, and I only got through about halfway through the grid. This is going to be a fantastic FR race at the NOLA SpeedTour.
Thank you, Ben Sissel, for that grid walk, introducing our fans on the stream to some of the drivers that we're going to be seeing. We've got a total of 15 drivers, one of our biggest fields ever in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Good morning. My name's John Fippin. I'm the spokesman for this series, as well as the new Ligier JSF4 series, which we'll have the finale of a little later today, as DJ gave the rundown to you. So just to back up what Ben said, it's great to have Ricco back with us. He did compete with us in the F4 series way back in 2018. Did a partial season with the Group A team and finished 44th in the championship. His best finish was an 18th back at pit race, and then he's kind of taken a little hiatus from racing and has come back with us in the FR series. So we're so glad to have Ricco back in the grid. So let's run the starting grid for you. We'll introduce all the drivers officially. Starting in 15th spot after kind of a rough day in the first race yesterday, the 73 of Landon Matriano Lim out of Shreveport, Louisiana, local driver. He drives for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. In row number 7 on the outside, another new driver. He'll be competing for the Masters Cup. That's the 07 of Anthony Autiello out of Cranston, Rhode Island, for Momentum Motorsports. Great to welcome Phil Picard back into our paddock. Next to him is the number 14 of Alex Benovitz from Naples, Florida, for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Kevin Jansen is the other Masters competitor. He's been with us for 3 years running now. This will be his 4th season competing in the FR Championship. He's in number 24 out of Deerfield Beach, Florida for Crosslink Kiwi. Next to him, the number 17 of Justin Garat, finished 8th in the first race yesterday out of Miami, Florida for the Speed Factory. Now for the top 10, outside of row 5, car number 77, James Lawley, another Canadian out of Halifax, Canada. He's sponsored by Cartbahn Racing, and he's with the Atlantic Racing team. Ricco Shlaimoun in the number 25 from Crosslink Kiwi out of Los Angeles, California, is in the ninth starting position. In row 4 on the outside, car number 6, Nicole Havrda out of Courtenay, Canada, in British Columbia. She's also for Crosslink Kiwi. Nicole shared the commentary booth with me yesterday. Another co-commentator was the 22 of Hayden Bowlsbey. Ben talked about him. Hayden's from Folsom, Louisiana, just up the road for IGY6 Motorsports. In row 3, you saw the 02 of Jett Bowling from Dallas, Texas. He's with Crosslink Kiwi. Next to him, the 31 of Titus Sherlock from Prosper, Texas. We have a lot of Texas-based drivers in the field, also with Crosslink Kiwi. Ryan Shehan, the vice champion a season ago in this championship, in number 66 out of Horseshoe Bay. That's a suburb of Austin for Crosslink Kiwi. Ryan finished 5th in the race yesterday. Nico Ambiado, the number 55, although he lives in Davenport, Florida during the racing season, he is all the way from Santiago, Chile for the new Velox USA team, and he finished 3rd on the podium in the race yesterday. Patrick Woods-Toth, the reigning F4 U.S. champion in the number 27 out of St-Lazare, Quebec for Crosslink Kiwi, was on the podium yesterday with a 2nd place finish. And yesterday's winner, Cole Kleck, in the number 11 out of San Antonio, Texas for the new DD Autosport team, was a dominant force yesterday. Started the outside of the front row, got the jump, and moved up into that top spot. And Cole Kleck starting from the jump this morning. We'll see what he's got for us. Tire strategy. Ben mentioned it. Hankook has brought a slightly softer compound to the series this year, and that has made the tire strategy much more of a factor, because these teams are limited to 2 sets of tires, 2 sets of fronts, 2 sets of rears for the entirety of the weekend, starting with qualifying. So they basically got 4 on-track sessions that they've got to make those 2 sets of tires work. And at a track like NOLA here, which is a little on the abrasive side, managing those tires is is one of the keys. And so when we're into the middle point of the weekend, this is the 2nd of 3 races for these drivers. They have to make decisions. Do we start with new tires on this race, or do we wait and save that set of new tires for round number 3? Joining me in the commentary booth all the way from Uruguay is Maite Cáceres. And Maite, I want to congratulate you. I've been with the series since the inception in 2016. You are the first female to be on the podium, and you've done it twice and came within a hair's breadth of taking a win yesterday. So welcome to the commentary booth. Thanks for being with us.
No, thanks to you for the invitation. Really excited to see this FR race. Maybe I will learn some tricks for my next one.
Exactly. So Maite obviously is going to be competing with the rest of the JSF4 championship drivers for the chance to win that scholarship. But we are underway, and it looks like Titus Sherlock has gotten the jump, and he is the man at the point right now as this 30-minute race starting from a standing start. Right behind Titus is the number 11 of Cole Kleck, who was the winner in the first race. 3 and 4 wide as they make it through turn number 3. Heading into turn 4 right now, you can see the car's a little squirrely on cold tires. Patrick Woods-Toth going side by side with Cole Kleck. We've got a car off the 25 of Ricco Shlaimoun. Has off into the grass. I think maybe had side-to-side contact with another car. Hopefully Ricco will be able to get that car rolling, or we'll have to get the safety car involved. But the battle is at the front. Titus Sherlock and the number 11 of Cole Kleck doing battle. Titus finished just off the podium in the first race yesterday in 4th position. Cole stormed up from about a 6th place qualifying spot to take the win. Right behind Cole is a 3-car breakaway as Nico Ambiado in the 55 is there. Good battling, a 3-car battle just behind them. The 22 of Hayden Bowlsbey. Great job for Hayden getting up in the thick of it. There's the 66 of Ryan Shehan and his teammate Patrick Woods-Toth, who's finished on the box in his first race in the FR car. He's the recipient of the scholarship from the F4 US Championship. And unfortunately, it looks like Ricco Shlaimoun not able to get that car refired, so we do have the safety car coming out to pick up the field just in front of the safety car, as that decision was made late. And Scott Goodyear, our race director, the discretion, of course, being the better part of valor, we want to be sure everybody is safe out there, so we have the opportunity to pick up the stranded car of Ricco Shlaimoun. There's a good look at the 73 of Landon Montriano Lim, one of our PMH Diversity Scholarship winners. Landon with a flat left front tire. He has had terrible luck here so far this weekend. So since we have our first safety car period, let's take just a brief moment to thank all of the sponsors that make the stream possible here on SpeedTour TV.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident.
It's always a little hectic at the beginning. Oh, it's all good. You're fine. No worries. No worries. It's good.
Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
The NOLA SpeedTour returns to Sonoma Raceway April 19th through the 21st, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli Western Championship, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Historic Trans Am, the Toyo Tire 2.5 Challenge, PSSA, International GT, and Saturday you can take part in the Hagerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show. You do not want to miss the Sonoma SpeedTour April 19th through the 21st. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
Once again, behind the safety car for the first couple of laps here, as we have Ricco Shlaimoun and Landon Montriano Lim, who apparently got together. Titus Sherlock taking the lead from his qualifying position, started all the way back in. For Titus, I'm going to guess that he's on fresh tires for this race. Some of the other drivers might have taken the gamble and gone with the second set. How did you guys allocate your tires for the weekend?
Well, we have two sets of new tires for quali. Usually we use it, and then we have a spare set for the races. We tend to manage depending on the strategy, where we are starting. Obviously, if you're going from the front row, you put on race one maybe the new tires. So yeah, it's really important on this track to manage all the tire management, because we have a lot of high-speed corners.
Maite raced with us in the F4 Series 2 years ago, and then this last year you were honored to be part of the Formula One Academy. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, it was a really great experience. We knew that I was going to really high level, and I didn't have the race experience as I would want to go there. But definitely racing in Europe was a big one for me. I learned a lot. Really, I can tell I improved a lot of my driving. Tire management also was a big one there in Europe. Different tracks. So yeah, a lot of things getting from that, and now I can use it on this race.
I've watched a couple of YouTube videos, and you're a bit of a celebrity in your home country.
we can say that.
That's great to see. Nonetheless, so great to have Maite with us here in the commentary booth. We'll see her on track coming up at 10:20 for the third and final race, but she is currently second in the points championship, and so a great start to the weekend. So we're holding out for good things here. So Titus Sherlock is your leader. Cole Kleck, yesterday's winner, in second. Nico Ambiado in third. Hayden Bowlsbey in fourth. That's a great start for Hayden. Ryan Shehan in fifth. Patrick Woods-Toth, who started on the front row, shuffled back to sixth in the early going. Patrick is a very measured driver, and I think you'll find he'll find something to get him toward the front before the end of this race. Jett Bowling in the 0-2 is seventh. Nicole Havrda in the 6 is eighth. James Lawley is ninth, and Alex Benovitz in the last points paying position. But clearly it's very much early days. We're only working race lap number 3, sadly, behind the safety car. Kevin Jansen, Justin Garat, and Anthony Autiello are through 13th, and Ricco Shlaimoun is being hooked up by the course workers to get him towed back into the pit lane. So apparently some lasting damage on that car, and the same for Landon Montriano Lim. Just a really tough weekend so far. Landon's been taken out in the first race with contact, and the same situation here on the first lap. So he's got a little uphill struggle for the final race of the weekend. Coming up later this afternoon, these drivers will be back at 2 o'clock for their third and final race. Safety car coming into the Bennett Bridge Hall S's. We'll keep an eye on the lights on that safety car to see if they pop out. It looks like the course workers are pretty much done recovering Ricco Shlaimoun's car. So we'll see if we're going to be able to get a restart or if we're going to have to go around one more time behind the safety car. These Formula Regional Americas drivers, minimum age is 16. Most of them graduates from our previous series, the F4 US Championship, or the brand new Ligier JS F4 Championship for the existing first generation car. Looks like we're going to go around one more time. Lights are still on the safety car. We're debuting the Ligier JS F4 Championship this weekend, where Maite is competing. It's an opportunity to use that first generation car beyond the time that it was supplanted by the new second generation car, which we're going to be introducing at our next race meeting at Road America coming up in just about a month's time. But the JS F4 16 has served us well since the championship began back in 2016. So this is our 9th year of competition in the F4 championship. FR joined us in 2018 with this Formula 3 basic car with the turbocharged Mountoon provided Honda-based power plant, the K20R for the FR series. Makes about 303 horsepower in race trim. It's fitted with a dry sump lubrication system and a race-ready ECU, but the internals are pretty much stock. So that's a testament to the work that Mountoon does on those motors to make them reliable and make them fast as well. So that's what it's all about. Again, looking at the points championship, Cole Kleck, your points leader. Patrick Woods-Toth in second. Nico Ambiado third. Titus Sherlock fourth. Ryan Shehan, the vice champion a year ago, is fifth. Hayden Bowlsbey sixth so far. Nicole Havrda seventh. Justin Garat eighth. And Ricco Shlaimoun and Anthony Autiello round out the points paying positions so far. Alex Benovitz, Kevin Jansen, Landon Montriano Lim, James Lawley, and Jett Bowling have yet to score, but that certainly looks like it might change before this day is over. The beautiful Janetta pace car, new to us here this season. James Rogerson is our safety car driver. Has been for a number of years. James from Texas does a lot of vintage and SCCA club racing in his off time, but he spends a lot of time in that safety car here at these racers, because it's always the first weekend is always full of incidents because everybody's anxious and you're not quite familiar with the car and whatever, but you have demonstrated what it takes to run near the front, because you take a measured look at the weekend and don't put the car in harm's way, basically.
Definitely, it's a lot of emotions. We all come from a lot of months of preparing ourselves for this moment, and it comes to races, and sometimes there are things that not planned for it. Yesterday was one of my big ones, catching P1. I overtake him, and I made a mistake on the last lap and last corner. So yeah, definitely those hurt. Right. But it builds the character. So yeah, definitely I'm going to learn from that.
That's great. It's great to see. Maite has definitely shown us that she's got the pace to run at the front. As we said yesterday, I didn't want to bring it up, but since you did, I will. Maite made a pass for the lead on the penultimate lap of yesterday's race. And later on in that lap, unfortunately made a mistake in the final corner and fell back to third. We were all heartbroken for you, as you were as well. But I know you'll come back strong. So
now we start from pole. So now we have a better chance also.
Exactly,
we have the pace, so yeah, definitely fighting for that win.
Lights are out on the safety car. James Rogerson has pulled into the pit lane. Titus Sherlock will bring the field around the final turn, the Mission Foods turn 16. He can accelerate any time after he reaches the apex of that turn. He's already done it. The green flag is out, and we are back underway. Titus Sherlock weaving, trying to break the draft with Cole Kleck right in his wheel tracks. Nico Ambiado stays in single file. Side-by-side racing just behind, though. There's Ryan Shehan. Big lockup for Titus Sherlock. He goes straight at turn one. That's a huge mistake, and he is going to have to wait for the field to get by. He will not be able to improve his position by taking that shortcut. And we have another car off. The 24 is off into the outside of turn 4, I believe that is. That's Kevin Jansen in the number 24 for Crosslink Kiwi. as we got side-by-side racing between Nico Ambiado and Cole Kleck. And Landon Montriano-Lim's going to get back in the race. He is a couple laps down, sadly. 3 laps down, actually, but at least he's going to get some experience. Titus Sherlock, again, after having made that mistake, is going to have to serve, I'm guessing, a drive-through to get things back. So the lead of the race is Cole Kleck and Nico Ambiado as we're watching that battle. Titus is well out in front, but he'll not be able to keep that position. We'll see how the race director is going to address that. But sadly, I see the safety car leaving the pit lane once again. So it looks like trouble recovering the car of Kevin Jansen, and he's going to need some help. Looks like the car is high-centered on the curbing. We saw him spinning the wheels trying to get that car. We're going to get a replay of the mistake Titus Sherlock made on the restart coming into turn number 1. You can see he's leading the parade. He's going to leave that braking just as late as he possibly can. Might have had the brake bias a little too far forward, I'm thinking, because those front wheels really damaged as he locked them up and made the decision to bail out rather than try to make that turn, and took the shortcut basically straight down what would be the drag strip. So clearly he has had a problem, and we saw just as we went to the safety car period, there he goes, as he is just coming by. He'll be at the back of the field, but he pulled off into the grass there. Perhaps instructed by Scott Goodyear, our race director, to give up that advantage that unfortunately he threw away. The brake bias is adjustable on these cars, Maite, and is that something that you adjust throughout the course of a lap, or do you get it set to where you're comfortable and leave it alone?
It depends on the driver. Usually, yes, we set it on lap by lap, or depending on how is it going, how you feel the tire. Obviously, behind a safety car, tires cool down a little bit, so maybe he will need more tire pressure for it.
Sure.
Yes, and we can adjust it every time. Usually when we have tire degradation, we tend to go a little bit backwards. If it's something we are locking on the front, yeah, we definitely can change it. We do it, and it helps a lot on the lap time.
We also have another car in the pits, the 14 of Alex Benovitz, as Alex is in the pit lane talking to his crew, so clearly some sort of issue with his car as well. So we've got some problems with getting all the cars to the finish here, as Benovitz dropping down the order, now being shown a lap down, as is Kevin Jansen. Landon Montriano-Lim, unfortunately, 3 laps down, and Ricco Shlaimoun did not complete a lap, so he will finish 15th. And it looks like we're going to go to a red flag. The reason for that is that by regulations, if the red flag is declared, the race clock stops, basically. So Scott Goodyear, again, our race director, will make the decision to bring the field into the pit lane, let them sit with the engines off, to give the track crews the time they need to get the disabled cars out of harm's way. And that way we don't eat into the race time. All our races are timed races. They're based on time elapsed rather than a number of laps. So this way we get maximum track time for all of these drivers. So the decision has been made to red flag this one, to stop the clock just about halfway through. In fact, we've got 15 minutes, 48 seconds remaining when we get the restart. It looks like it'll be a pretty quick recovery of Kevin Jansen's car, so I doubt if they'll be stationary long. But again, you experienced that in your race as well, Maite. Does it change your mindset at all when you have a red flag? You have to kind of psych yourself up again for that restart?
Yes, it's a good moment to think, to talk to the team sometimes with the radio that we have, your weakest points, or where you can push more, or how is the car balanced. So that is something we talk with the team, and we help on that. So yeah, it's a really important moment. You cool down, the car cools down, so
sure.
You tend to think, okay, where I can improve. He's doing some maneuver that I need to really think, and that is a good moment. Sometimes a lot of pressure because there's another restart.
Sure.
So you need to prepare for that.
Yeah.
And definitely it cools down everything on the race, but you need to think on a strategy.
Sure, absolutely right. Of course, the teams are not permitted to work on the cars during these red flag periods. They can't even take tire pressures. Basically, the team can offer you an umbrella or a drink. We call that driver comfort in the regulations, but that's it. That's the extent of of what the teams can do. They're not permitted to make any adjustments to the car. So if, say, oh gosh, I wish I had a little more rear wing or whatever, unfortunately they can't do it during a red flag period.
No, but we can change the brake bias. That is one. Go to the front, go to the back. What they see after the race. NOLA is a great track to see all the race, what is happening. So that is good for teams also to give you some advice or your coach.
Yeah, I'll ask you the question that I ask every driver when we have an opportunity. Is there a particular portion of this track, a particular turn or a particular area that is most challenging for you, to the last place where you learn to go fast here at NOLA?
NOLA has a really technical fast corners, and I believe like turn 6 is one of those that you say, okay, you need to be very precise, because with not the minimum speed that you need, you're going to be slow and lost a lot of lap time. So you need to be consistent on that and not making any mistake, because you have the grass there and it's really high speed.
Exactly. Yeah. Turn 6. Scott Goodyear at all the drivers' briefings says, stay out of the gravel at turn 6. It's a turn that can really catch you out if you get a little too over exuberant because you want to carry as much minimum speed through there as you can. You go a little bit too wide, and there's the gravel trap to catch the car.
And it's really tough because it's a sequence of corners. It's come from turn 5,
6, and 7.
You are turning and you need to go fast, and that is one of the technicals. Also, the last sector is really good. So
As we guessed, this is going to be a short red flag period because the engines have been fired once again, and we'll wait for James Rogerson to pull away, but we'll have a single file restart, just as if it were a safety car period. They'll follow one lap around. The clock now starts, and we'll make one lap around behind the safety car, and then we'll have another single file restart. Maite, tell us a little bit about your journey. Did you start in go-karting in your native Uruguay, or how did you become a race car driver?
Yes, I started go-karting in Uruguay. Well, my family is in motorsport world. My father rally driver.
Your father's a rally driver?
Yes.
Yeah. Your brother is as well, right?
Yeah. No, he tested for Minardi F1. He did Formula cars in Europe. And when I was 8 years old, I told them that I wanted to race, but they didn't let me until I was like 17. So I started 5 years ago go-karting. I did 2 years in Uruguay. Then I jumped into Formula 4 in Uruguay. And then I came from the F4 US Championship in 2022. So and not so much of race experience like I would love to, but I'm really grateful to be doing this.
Tell me if this is apocryphal, but I heard that there was that in your second Formula 4 race, it was in the rain. You had to start from the pit lane and you finished second. Is that true?
Yes, one of my favorite races of my life. Yeah, I couldn't believe it because I had a good starting position. I was P5, well, for my second race in Formula 4. Yeah. Really happy. And then it started to rain when we were on the grid, and we had to change tires, so we get a penalization because my team ran out of time when they put the 3-minute board. Right. So we needed to go to the pit lane, and we waited everyone to start, and I went, and it was my first time on the rain, so that was like amazing. Last corner, I overtake P2, so I finished second, my first podium. It was amazing.
Awesome. Do you like to race in the rain?
Yes, it was really fun.
Yeah, a lot of drivers hate it. A lot of drivers love it. It's just it depends on how your mindset is, I guess.
Yes, it depends on your also abilities.
Sure.
Which one is better, but I prefer not to, but I don't mind.
Got it. That's a great thing. We saw a good shot of Landon Matriano Lim, and again, he has had a star-crossed weekend so far, certainly belying the talent that young driver has. He was the winner last year of our Omologato Perfectly Timed Pass Award, which is a new award that we awarded at the banquet last year in the F4 banquet for the driver who made up the most positions from his qualifying position to his finishing position over the course of the season. And Landon won that award, 64 passes overtakes. And interestingly, he never got into the top 10. So all of that was just outside the points-paying positions. And Landon won that award. So we're hoping for better things for him. But he's had some issues here so far. Let's see see if we can get through turn 1, guys, as we head down toward the first turn. Cole Kleck leads the parade. A battle for third. Hayden Bowlsbey having to be just a little defensive as he's got Patrick Woods-Toth now right behind him. But it is Cole Kleck at the front through turn number 2, down toward turn 3 now. That sweeping left-hander, those back-to-back, what we call a horseshoe turn or a hairpin turn, gives a great opportunity for passing, because if you can hang on the outside of the first one, that'll put you on the inside for the second one. So we see just a brief shot of James Lawley in the 77 as we head into turn number 5. The cars are coming up to that turn 6 that we talked about right there, and you can see that gravel trap right to the outside. If you get up too high on those gator teeth, you are pretty much beached for the rest of the race. There's a good shot of the number 6 of Nicole Havrda. She's one of the Crosslink Kiwi drivers, the only female in the FR field. Maite is the only female in the JSF4 field here this weekend, but she's had great success. Nicole did well. She finished in the points in the first race, finishing in 7th spot. As Hayden Bowlsbey holding off Ryan Shehan. Hayden, the local driver, local team from just up the road in Folsom, Louisiana. He's a great story. He's the most experienced driver in our field. He raced with us for 3 years in F4 and then has had 2 seasons with us in the FR Championship. And he is working toward the sharp edge here, potentially in a podium position. And that would only be his 2nd podium in his career. We've got a side-by-side race for the lead as Cole Kleck and Nico Ambiado going after it. Kleck guarding the inside, 3 wide now as Hayden Bowlsbey thinks about going down to the inside. Sorry, that was Patrick Woods-Toth who jumped down to the inside. I said he's a measured driver. He was back outside the top 5 after the first lap, but now he is right there battling for the podium spots. So it's Kleck, Ambiado. Ambiado's going to try to do that outside pass. Cole Kleck making that car a little wide, running him right to the edge. Kleck on the inside, Ambiado on the outside. There's Patrick Woods-Toth to pick up the pieces if these two come to tears as they work their way out of turn 4. No change in position, but good racing at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 car breakaway at the front of the field. This is the kind of racing we like to see with 8.5 minutes remaining. Hayden Bowlsbey just outside the podium positions in in the 22 car in 4th spot. But 8 minutes is a lot of time yet to go. You can see this track is pretty bumpy in places. It's not one of those billiard table smooth tracks that we race on occasionally. We race at Coda, for instance, which is a Formula 1 grade track. But this one is FIA grade 3, and certainly a track that is worthy of the competition of these drivers, but you can see they have to work on the bumps, and that changes the car setup as well, Maite. The shock adjustments are very critical for a track like this.
Yes, definitely. You need to see where those bumps are. You see it on the track walk, or maybe as soon as you get out on the first level of the track. It's important to see that so you can take the best line to avoid them. Understood.
Again, a great battle at the front. Cole Kleck guarding that inside line. Nico Ambiado deciding to stay wide. And again, the battle behind between Shehan and Bowling and Hayden Bowlsbey is a good one. Ambiado tries that move again. This time he made it stick on the outside of turn 3. Let's see if he can hold on to that lead. He's got a nose, that was turn 2, excuse me. He's still got a nose ahead, and diving down to the inside is Patrick Woods-Toth. What a brilliant move as those two went side by side. He saw the opportunity. Cole Kleck got off in the marbles, and that cost him a little bit of momentum. Now let's see if Hayden Bowlsbey can capitalize on that as he is up there battling at the sharp edge. Cole Kleck in second. Patrick Woods-Toth, your new leader, but Hayden Bowlsbey in the podium positions. As it stands right now with just under 7 minutes remaining, Woods-Toth, after taking the lead, has begun to stretch his legs just a little bit. And sadly, the safety car is standing up once again, as we must have a car off somewhere just outside our view. So we'll sort that out here in just a moment, just as Patrick Woods-Toth we'll get a chance to see the replay of what brought us to the problem. And we can see the side-by-side racing just a little deeper in the pack. There's Nico Ambiado side-by-side with Cole Kleck. They both went wide. Patrick Woods-Toth dived down to the inside. Kleck getting a little squirrely. They touched right there. That was the issue. Nico Ambiado, unfortunately, got shunted off as they made contact with Cole Kleck. And that's the reason for the yellow. I'm guessing there was some suspension damage on that car. It looked to be a kind of a light touch, but it doesn't take much to break a suspension arm on these cars. So once again, we're going to have to slow down behind the safety car. Goodness gracious, this has been a stop and start race.
Yeah, definitely Cole did protect his first place, wanted him and pushed him a little bit, but Patrick was just behind.
Yep. Patrick Woods-Toth, an Australian driver from, or Canadian driver, not Australian, from St-Lazare, Quebec. After winning the F4 championship, he took advantage of the PMH scholarship to move up into the Formula Regional Americas Championship. He gets the use of a Ligier JSF4 chassis, or a JSFR chassis, as well as Hankook tires and entry fees, and it's a scholarship in the neighborhood of $180,000 that he won to move up into the FR series, and glad that Patrick was able to take advantage of that. We've had a number of champions over the course of the season that have won the F4 championship and then won the FR championship in the following year, but we've also had some champions that weren't able to make that jump. As this FR, I don't know, have you had any seat time in the FR car? I didn't know if you've had any testing or.
Yes, I did one test in the FR car. Really, really powerful car.
Yeah.
300 HP. Horsepower. It was really good. The downforce, you feel it.
Yeah.
It's a lot to compare to the F4 car.
Yeah, it requires a little different driving style, obviously, because you've got to learn to trust that downforce, obviously, and you've got a lot more power, so you have to modulate the throttle to keep from spinning up the rear tires. And sometimes making that transition from the normally aspirated F4 car to the more powerful, more downforce-heavy FR car is not one that some drivers can master quickly. And I think that was part of the problem for some of these drivers, but obviously Patrick Woods-Toth seems to have taken to it pretty well. He finished second in his first race in this car, and right now he's leading this one. But sadly, one more time we have to go behind the safety car to get Nico Ambiado's car recovered. So Woods-Toth is your leader, Cole Kleck in second, Hayden Bowlsbey in third, Ryan Shehan in fourth, Jett Bowling in the fifth spot, Nicole Havrda sixth, James Lawley seventh, Justin Garat in the eighth spot, Anthony Autiello in the ninth spot, and Nico Ambiado still being shown in 10th, but he will not stay there. Titus Sherlock, after that mistake into turn one, currently being scored in 10th, and we're going to red flag again, as the hope is that we can get one flying lap in at the end of this race. With about 3 minutes remaining, I think the hope for our race director is that we can send the cars out and get one more race lap rather than having to end under the yellow. Nobody wants to end a race behind the safety car, and so the decision has been taken by Scott Goodyear to slow the pace down once again. I think he's going to have he's going to call an emergency drivers meeting for these drivers after this race. I think the expectation for these FR drivers, they should be more experienced and a little more race ready. And I think these guys are letting their exuberance get the better of them. So I'm sure Scott will have a chance to sit them down and say, "Hey guys, let's calm down. We're heading to Road America, which is a very, very high speed track, 4 miles long, and we certainly don't want to see this kind of thing up there." So. Field coming to a stop here on the pit lane as we're keeping an eye on the recovery work from the safety crew. We'll put the spyglass on them, and they are at the scene of Ambiado's car, and hopefully it's a flat tow rather than requiring a wrecker. Although we do see the wrecker down there. It may be, if the suspension is damaged enough, they'll have to lift the car to bring it into the paddock area, and that looks like that may be exactly what's going on here. Again, the most what seemed like kind of a minor touch, unfortunately, can cause a premature end to the day. And these drivers have one more race to go later this afternoon, so the crews are going to be busy getting ready for the 2 o'clock start of race number 3. We're excited to go to a couple new venues here in our racing for the FR Series, in addition to our sort of standard group of NOLA and Road America, Mid-Ohio, New Jersey, and Circuit of the Americas for our season finale. We're adding the Indianapolis Road Course coming up in our third venue, and we're heading north of the border to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, the track formerly known as Mosport. Our F4 cars have run at both of those venues in the past, but that'll be the first time that the FR cars have raced at Indy and at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, as we can see some of the wildlife here in New Orleans. What a beautiful city, great city to eat in. The food here is just divine. It's always one of my favorite stops just because we can find some great places to eat.
Definitely, yeah. I'm surprised about the food. I never came here like to especially eat out. So yeah, really good.
Indeed. What do you are you able to spend a lot of time in your home country, Uruguay, or are you pretty much here in the U.S. all full time?
I'm pretty much in the U.S. For this season. Obviously, it's the main goal to be with a team, prepare the car, be in the scene, train hard. For it. So yeah. Mainly here in the U.S.
Got it. So do you get a little homesick? Do you miss?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Woods-Toth in the lead, and this is going to be a one-lap sprint to the finish. Cole Kleck showed in the first race, after starting, I think, on row 3, got himself to the front almost immediately on the first lap. And so he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Hayden Bowlsbey, looking for only his second podium in FR competition. He had a podium in F4 back in 2021. He finished third at Brainerd. We raced there that year. And he had a third-place finish at Road America a year ago in the FR Series. And again, a short red flag period. Again, this is a tactical move by the race director to maximize the number of green flag laps that we have. So that's the reason for the stoppage. And the car's being fired up, and the determination is made. We're not going to have enough time to get around behind the safety car and to restart the race, so it's been declared official. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Woods-Toth will take the win. Cole Kleck in second, Hayden Bowlsbey in third, Ryan Shehan, Jett Bowling, Nicole Havrda, James Lawley, Justin Garat, Anthony Autiello, and Nicolas Ambiado will still get the last point. I'm going to run down to the podium to interview our top 3 finishers. Maite, thank you so much for being with us, for your commentary, and best of luck in the race finale coming up later this morning.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. Really fun race, but chaotic also. So, yeah, thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Ben and DJ as I head down to the podium, and they'll wrap up this race for you.
Hello and welcome back to NOLA Motorsport Park. As you heard there, that was John Fippin heading on out here at this point, but it is DJ Clark and Ben Sissel back up in the booth with you. As you saw, Patrick Woods-Toth ending the day on the top step of the podium. Cole Kleck and Hayden Bowlsbey able to round out your podium. Again, a pretty strong day there for the Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports with Shehan, Bowling, and Havrda there in P6. James Lawley in P7, then Justin Grant, Anthony Autiello, and Nicolas Ambiado rounding out your top 10. And what was a little bit of an affected race there, but when we saw the racing on the track, it was pretty spectacular, just as you would expect it to be.
I got to give it up, though, for Patrick Woods-Toth, and I know Ron Fellows has been working with him for a long time, and just like Ron Fellows, he just takes what he's given. was back there kind of in third, waiting for something to happen. He saw it open because the 1 and 2 were going at it so much. He took the inside, and then 2 corners later, the race was over. So he just always finds a way to make it onto the podium, and usually the top step, does Patrick Woods-Toth.
Yeah, he certainly does, as we're about ready to roll through some highlights here at this point of the previous race. So let's go ahead and check those out here at this point. It was a very, very wide start as things got going. Then a couple of cars getting a little bit squirrely coming down through the infield section. More drivers trying to duke it out there. A great pass by the 66 as the safety car was then headed out on the last restart. Then on the next restart, the 31 blowing past by and then ending up out in the grass as there was the weaving coming down the main straightaway, as we've seen a couple of times there. Big moves to the inside for the 11 going around the outside trying to get it, but getting themselves out onto the marbles. And Patrick Woods-Toth ending up in the top spot after a red flag affected session. That's going to wrap things up here for the Formula Racing, but stick with us as we get ready to go racing for SVRA here in just a few minutes.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.